Okay, so to understand when Captain Marvel became, or was becoming, or was being set up to become Magic Superman, we have to go back all the way to 2006 in the Day of Vengeance event. Captain Marvel and Shadow Pact were the magical world's last defenses against the Spectre, who had been seduced by Jean Loring, who was possessed by Eclipso. And he was only seduced because he did not have a host at that time. You know how Jordan had left him. That's a whole different story for another day. But let me make this clear. Captain Marvel has always been about magic, but not so much so in the way they were pushing him. As per they were making him do magical spells. They made the gods that made up the Shazam acronym gods of magic, as opposed to just the Olympian gods we all know and love in Greek mythology. These ones, they were the same name, but they were the gods of magic. So it dates back to 2006, Day of Vengeance. My birthday, actually, I'm 19. Captain Marvel gets imbued with the power of every magical being on Earth. He then fights the Spectre. The Spectre takes him to the Rock of Eternity. The Spectre and the Wizard Shazam fight. The Wizard Shazam dies. Then the Rock of Eternity blows up. After the Rock of Eternity blows up, Mary and Freddy lose their powers. Freddy turns back into Freddy Freeman and Mary turns back into Mary Batson. And as she's turning back, she was mid-fight in the sky. And as she plummets, if you fall fast enough, even hitting water will be like hitting concrete, you understand? So she fell so fast, she fell like lightning from the sky. Her wings had been clipped. She fell, she hit the surface of the water, and she fell into a coma. And then Billy got all the power. All the power, like he had been sharing it with them. He then got everything back. And so what Billy was doing, he was cleaning up the magical mess, because the Rock of Eternity is the nexus of all magic in the DC universe. So the fact that it exploded, it really shook the magical world. It shook the laws of magic, much like how the Lazarus Planet recently, 2023, is the exact same thing. Lazarus Planet and Day of Vengeance are the exact same thing. A critical event happens and the laws of magic have been changed. So the explosion of the Rock of Eternity changed the laws of magic, and Billy was now going around fixing everything. Like demons from every timeline were coming in, demons from ancient days, demons of today. I think the 7 deadly sins were also outbursts. So Billy was just using his powers to fix everything. And what I didn't understand, for me personally, in that whole scenario, what I didn't understand was the fact that Billy, Mary, and Freddy were separated, because Billy had been trapped. He basically had to take the wizard's place because the wizard had died. We saw that in pages of 52. So Billy, Mary, and Freddy were not really hanging out anymore. Mary and Freddy had become a Marvel duo. So as you can see, both of the three of them had been separated at this time. So like I said, Mary was in a coma, Freddy was depowered, and Billy did not even look for them. He didn't try to find them. It's almost as if they didn't even exist to him, but regardless. So Billy was going around, he was fixing stuff like demons were kidnapping children to sacrifice them. Billy, he can transform from a man to a boy. So he posed as one of the children for the sacrifice. And when they wanted to come and bring out the kids to try and kill them, Billy transformed and he fucked their shit up. He fucked the operation up. So when he tried to transform again, he noticed his hair had started turning white. Then he noticed his outfit started turning white. All of this from the power of Shazam. And so he becomes everything Captain Marvel was and everything the Wizard Shazam was. So he's still Captain Marvel, but he's now taking the place of the Wizard Shazam, okay? And he's bound to the Rock of Eternity. He can only leave the Rock for 24 hours. So now the contract to the old gods are done. Like I said, the laws of magic are rewritten. Everything is not the same as it once was. So the contract to the old gods, if you don't know, the acronym Shazam is a contract. You have, the wizard has to make a contract with the gods to supply their powers to the mortal. So what's now happened is that Freddy was chosen by Billy to become the new champion, because he has to stay at the Rock as the wizard. There has to be a wizard and he has to have a representative. So he chose Freddy to be his new champion, and he brought him in. And now what he told him was that it's not this exact same guys from last time. These guys, as in the gods, these guys have the exact same names, but they're the gods of magic. And it didn't even really make sense to me, because it was still the exact same powers, but they were just magical. I didn't really get what was the point of doing that. But this definitely, from the whole narrative, from where I'm going to go from here to Mary, the whole narrative is very, very clear that DC editorial was pushing this idea to make the Shazam mythos magical, okay? And so what they now did was Freddy Freeman has to go through these trials, the trials of Shazam. Now he has to go and prove himself worthy to every single one of these gods that are magical. They are the magical personifications of the gods of old. So I don't know why they had to make them that. Just that part didn't make sense to me. I really, really didn't understand it. But okay, the book was really, really good. But this is the concrete start of where they were pushing Captain Marvel as a magic superhero. So Freddy was going, he and Zareb was actually used the whole time. They will go from one god will lead you to another, one god will lead you to another. So they started with Solomon, Freddy proved himself, then they went on to find Hercules, they went on to find Apollo because Atlas was killed, so Apollo stood in. They went on to find Mercury. So because there was this Council of Merlin and they had their own champion who, if Freddy could not prove himself worthy, there was this girl in the Council of Merlin, Sabine. If Freddy could not prove himself, all the powers of Shazam would go to the Council of Merlin and Sabine would now become the wielder of the power of Shazam. And then they're evil, so like they're on some world domination shit, and Sabine is like strong enough to stand up because having the full power of Shazam means you're strong enough to stand up to Superman. And like I really really like the book because of how they did the gods, especially Atlas. Atlas's own was very, very good. The whole thing about Atlas is his stamina, where he held up the heavens. But here, he held up the heavens in a metaphysical sense. As per, he had this VR headset and like he was stopping the biggest disasters by making the tiniest changes. It was really, really awesome. And it also means that Captain Marvel will be able to withstand Gojo's infinity, utilizing the stamina of Atlas, because we saw Freddy, who didn't have the full powers yet, fail. But when Billy took over, he was able to do it. Then don't even get me started on Achilles. Achilles had the best reconstruction and the best test. I really really liked Freddie Freeman in this story as well. It's like when I was reading this, I was seeing the Freddie Freeman that Elvis fell in love with. And it's so sad to see the Freddie Freeman of today because he's just dog shit. Like, I just can't bring myself to like that character. I don't know. This guy and this guy are definitely not the same characters at all. And so that's what happened in Trials of Shazam. And by the end of the book, this is where they started making Shazam a magical superhero, and this is where they officially started naming the character himself Shazam. It was in the Trials of Shazam. That's the landmark of where they made him both magical and Shazam as his superhero name for no reason. But they called Billy as the wizard, they called him Marvel, just Marvel. Then Billy now said that Freddy's new alias is Shazam. Period. So now from there we cut into Countdown to Final Crisis. Mary just woke up from her coma. Remember I said she was in a coma, so she just woke up and like Billy isn't there, Freddy isn't there. Freddy just came. He actually paid to have her transferred to a proper hospital. So Freddy was covering her bills because, Billy was in the Rock of Eternity before that. He was like cleaning up the magical mess around the world and like nobody could find him before he now became the wizard. And so Mary just woke up. She can't find anybody, no friends, no family. I don't even know why they did that because the Bromfields who adopted her are still alive. And they know she's a superhero. So for the fact that Mary had been in a coma, Freddy has been taking care of her. There's no way the Bromfields would not have come to meet her. Like, Mary was broke. She was alone. Nobody knew her. And so she woke up and she was asking for Freddy, asking for Billy. The doctor just gave her a note that Freddy left. Freddy told her not to come and find him, but like these guys are tight. They're a trio. There's no way that kind of thing will happen. So Mary's just lost. She's spiraling and she just goes to Gotham. Then she walks in somewhere. She feels drawn to the place. And what she actually finds inside is Black Adam. And Black Adam is just like, the guy is just tearing up people. Like anybody that enters that place, Black Adam will just murder them. And so he starts to have a conversation with her, and then they're just talking. Then she asks him for some of his power, the same way he shared it with Osiris, and he's like, you don't want this for real, like it's a curse. The same way, like if you ask a vampire to turn you, they'll tell you don't want this, the bloodlust is a curse, blah 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 blah. And she was like, she wants it. And another thing I've noticed that's very very common, what they do with the people who get the power of Shazam, once they lose that power, it's like this insane lust they have for the power. Like, it's understandable, but like it's so crazy, like how much they crave the power. Like Mary was sounding like a junkie. Like she was like, I have to have this, like it's meth, like it's crazy, like it's fentanyl. She was like, I want this. And so Black Adam was just like, okay, and he just gave her his powers. And like they say he gave her all, but I feel as though if he transforms again, like, in the same sense that when Billy's transformed and Mary and Freddy are not transformed, Billy's stronger. Or when Mary transforms and Billy and Freddy are not transformed, Mary's stronger. So Adam gave her his powers, then he didn't transform. So Mary is very, very strong, and like it shows. Like she can't handle it because she's not used to this level of strength. Her powers are normally always divided, so she's going crazy with power. She's surging with power. So who did she even meet in Gotham? She was talking to someone in Gotham, right? And they said that, yo, you're really powerful, you should go and try and find a mentor. And so she goes to meet Zatanna. And Zatanna takes her to her house, and like she wants to teach her some stuff on the basics, like when someone is mentoring you, they teach you basic stuff. You take it slow. And Mary did not want to take it slow, and she just started going batshit crazy and started absorbing the powers of stuff in Zatanna's house to get stronger. She just started trying to fuck up Zatanna. Zatanna now banished her from her house before she now went to meet Clarion. Clarion now wanted to dupe her for some of the powers of Shazam, because the powers of Shazam are coveted, So he wanted to dupe her, and she was also going crazy. Like, then she had someone calling to her, and when she went there, she went to meet none other than Eclipso, Jean Loring Eclipso. And Eclipso was now like, seducing her, not like in a sexual way, but like seducing her in the way of, you are so powerful, we are kindred spirits who have like minds, let's just do what we want, to the point where Mary is this magical being who can conjure up storms. She can literally transform living organisms into other stuff. And best of all, she has lightning vision. Like, I've always wondered how this is not a thing with the characters. Like, Superman, anytime Superman and Billy come together, they're always talking about how Billy doesn't have X-ray vision and he doesn't have heat vision. Like, this guy can do lightning vision. Let's give him that. He doesn't have X-ray vision, fine. He can't see through objects, fine. He doesn't have super hearing, fine. He doesn't have freeze brain, fine. But he should have that lightning vision. That's one thing he should have besides the similarities of super strength and speed. Let's give him that. So, she can do all these things, and all these things are said to be magical in nature. So, as you can see, the magification of the Captain Marvel mythos started in Day of Vengeance. From Day of Vengeance, you trade to the Trials of Shazam. From Trials of Shazam, you go to the events of Countdown. They all happen, Trials of Shazam and Countdown happen simultaneously. They're going hand in hand. That's why Mary can't actually find Freddy, because Freddy is going through the trials that she's going through her own life, like her own episodes, because Mary actually meets Billy. Billy summons her to the Rock of Eternity in between the time she gets her powers, and he tells her, like, what's up, like, he tries to tell her that she isn't ready for this amount of power she has, but she just storms out of there like an angry child, and like, this is a huge change for Mary, a drastic character change. Like, if you read the Power of Shazam, then you read Countdown to Final Crisis, you will not even be able to believe that this is the same character, because they're around 17 at the time, and the Power of Shazam takes place when they are like 14, 15 years old. So just in the span of 2 years, this is what has happened to her. It's really, really crazy. And so from there, we see Mary deflect Omega beams, and she was ready to go band for band with freaking Darkseid. So not only does the Power of Shazam let you go equal with Superman, it allows you to fight beings like Darkseid as well. Because remember, it was Adam who gave her his powers. We then see her beat the brakes off of Jean Loring and Eclipso. We also find out that the gods were imprisoned on Apocalypse. That's why the people who weren't directly blessed by the gods, or who weren't the direct champions, that is Mary and Freddy, lost their powers, whereas Adam and Billy kept theirs. And Mary starts working for Darkseid. Then from there, we go to the New 52. Now, that's when they just went straight up ballistic crazy. And that's when they made the whole magification process even worse. They made him a whole ass wizard. Like, bro, I don't care if Superman has ice breath. You don't need a whole fire spell for that shit. Like, it's not even that deep. It's just ice. It's literally just ice. It's not like it will kill him. It's not like it can even do much damage to him. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, Billy does not need a whole fire spell for that. Though, in the context of the comic, he used a fire spell for something else, but you know that fire spell was for the power scalers. Okay, so from what I can see, like, Geoff John isn't entirely to blame. The blame isn't entirely on him for revamping the mythos, but he played a crucial role in it. I won't even lie, because not only did he do the origin for the New 52, he also did the Rebirth book, and he's also one of the people that had a hand in the live action movie. So the blame is still on him. Like, it's partially between him and DC editorial, because they started this way back in 2006, but like, we weren't really paying attention. Like, even if you read the Power of Shazam book, it's not even really that magical in nature. Like, I don't consider Hell and his devices magical. I don't know whether I should call it sci-fi, but it's never really been magical to me. Magical is where all these people come casting, throwing spells around, Zatanna speaking backwards, Azarath, Matrion, Zinthos, all that shit. Billy doesn't do that. Billy's left, right, good night. Left, right, good night. He doesn't cast spells. That's not his thing. And today we're having this guy start talking on some Book of Champions God, don't even forget Mr. Mind. Mr. Mind magic. How? Mr. Mind from Venus practicing magic. Oh my God. Like everything they did for the new 52 Shazam, they should have just created an original character with their own original rules and just done it to them. Because imagine saying, okay, Krypton was the magical planet from another dimension, and they sent Clark Kent from that dimension, and his powers are magical in nature under the sun, and he's unemployed too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just revamped everything. The thing about Captain Marvel is Captain Marvel uses magic as a door. Billy Batson uses magic as a door to access Captain Marvel. Whether they are the same person or not, the lightning, Zeus's lightning transformation is a door. You walk through as Billy Batson, you come out as Captain Marvel. Simple and short. It's not rocket science. What's so hard for writers to fathom? Do you want to say Zeus is magical? Reason this. Superman was born with his powers, yes or no? Yes. Zeus was born with his powers, yes or no? Yes. So just because Superman is an alien and Zeus is a god, is that why you want to say he is magical? Magic is a skill like any mortal or god can perform. Zeus is divine. Look, Captain Marvel's powers are not magical, period. His transformation is magical, and that's where his relationship with magic ends. He's the champion of all magic in the sense that he's the melee of magic. Let's use this analogy. In the TVD universe, vampires are made from magic, witches are practitioners of magic. Let's say Damon, Stefan, and Bonnie want to fight someone. What will happen is Bonnie is at a secure location casting the spell, while Damon and Stefan are the ones who will finish the job. Damon and Stefan are sword and shield, and Bonnie is the back end, like a website. The witches are the back end, and the vampires at the front end. Only difference is Marvel can perform magic if he wants to, but there's more to him than that. The same way Zatanna, Constantine are the back end, then Billy's the front end, like in Day of Vengeance, where everyone channeled their power into him. Like Day of Vengeance, why do you think it was Marvel that fought the Spectre and everybody just channeled into him? Because these guys are not melee fighters. These guys can't do what Marvel can do. They can't last as long as Marvel. They can't hit as high as Marvel. They're not as fast as Marvel. Even Marvel, before being amplified, was still holding his own with the Spectre. Do you know what the Spectre literally did? And this is canon. When Earth 1 and Earth 2 were merging, not once but twice, the Spectre was the guy who stood in between and pushed those two Earths apart. Like, he stood in between the dimensions. I don't know whether it was called the bleed at that time. He stood in between and he pushed those two planets, those two universes apart. And Marvel stood up to him in a one-on-one fight before being amped and after being amped. Not that he won. Don't get me wrong. Not that he won. It doesn't even matter, whether you won or not. But for you to go up against somebody like that of your own sheer power is not something you play with. Like, he's the champion of magic doesn't make him a magician. I don't know what's with that push to make him a magician. Like, I don't think it's good for a character to have, I don't think it's good for a character to have no equal. Like, I'm talking about Superman right now, like for them to just be one supreme being. And if you wanted something like that, is it not to go like Zeno from Dragon Ball? He's a supreme being. He's not one of our main characters. We don't see him fight. He will just wave his hand and erase him multiverse. That's his supreme being. But you have somebody like Superman. Superman, we follow his everyday adventures and we know what he does. And like for you to now say that there's no one on the planet that can stop him except Doomsday or Darkseid, it just doesn't add up. I won't even lie. So like what I was saying is, with the making of this whole wizard thing, it's not just the right decision. Like, they just don't know. I don't know what's so bad in having two characters on the same level. It doesn't make sense. Like, Goku is the flagship character of the Dragon Ball franchise, but Vegeta is right there. He's on the same level with him. Gogeta and Vegito are stronger than him. Beerus is stronger than him. Jiren is just right below him. Broly is right there on his power level. Probably is going higher. And Gohan is with him. They are different characters, but Goku is still our main focus. Our main focus is this guy. And even though he loses, we still root for him. Even though we don't know whether he win or not, we still root for him, And like, you see all these things. You see Naruto. Naruto is the face of the Naruto franchise, Naruto Boruto franchise. But Sasuke is there, Madara is there, Obito is there. There are still plenty of people who can give this guy a fight and put his life on the line. But you see Superman, they'll make 101 excuses as to why he'll win a fight that he logically should not be winning. I saw someone even say the sun expands Superman's brain. Making him super smart. Like, how does that even work? The sun giving you powers is a genuine stretch, but expanding your brain, come on now. It doesn't have to go that far. Like, for him, it doesn't have to go that far. Look, my point is this: Superman is the Adidas to Captain Marvel's Nike. He's the Xbox to his PlayStation. He's the Messi to his Ronaldo. Even in Final Crisis Beyond, out of all the Superman-esque characters that were there, he chose Captain Marvel to help him with the Book of Infinite Pages. These guys are born and bred rivals, and DC should feed into that narrative to elevate Marvel to another level, because Superman is iconic. He's everything. There's no more elevation for this guy. He has done everything. So now you have a whole new narrative, a whole new story, giving Superman a rival that isn't some Kryptonian alien who evolves and cannot be killed the same way twice, or some despot from another planet. Just give him a rival. That's even why in Injustice they had to kill Captain Marvel, because that story could not move on logically if a character like Captain Marvel was there, because he would have ended Superman. There's no debate about that, genuinely. So try to make Captain Marvel a magic version of Superman just was not the way to go. Because one, yes, Superman and Marvel are alike, but there are still stark differences. Superman is still a man, Marvel is still a boy. Superman is an alien, Marvel is a human. Okay, Superman, yes, they are both like media personalities, but Billy is a radio presenter, Superman is a reporter. There are differences, there are similarities, there are differences. That's why the rivalry works more, even because of the similarities, as opposed to they took away Wiz Radio, they took away Fawcett City, they took away Sterling Morris, they took away his job, they took away his being pure of heart. All these things are just not necessary. And you can, even in the 2023 Shazam one, you can see Mark Waid, he tried to rectify some of those mistakes, but the mythos is so convoluted, so much things have been introduced to the point where it's not even making sense. Do you understand? What Captain Marvel needs is a breath of fresh air. He needs somebody like Dr. Manhattan or a fifth dimensional imp to come in and wreck his world, so much so that he can put everything pre-crisis back into place. This is also one of the things I'm working on in my storyline. I'll reveal it soon. If you please just like and subscribe for me, turn on notifications so you can stay tuned to more from me. Thank you for watching this. I hope you now understand when Captain Marvel started becoming Magic Superman, and I hope you now see why it's better for him to not be Magic Superman but be his own character. I bid you farewell and stay tuned for the next video. We'll be looking at Captain Marvel's villains, where I'll introduce a new one. Some of you might have seen that video, and I'll be explaining his old ones. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.